What's going on, folks? Glad you guys could be here. I am so stoked for episode 33, Life After Death. Welcome to Seeker of the Unknown. And if you have not been here, welcome. We're so glad that you could join. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Really stoked. This is the first time I've been back on this channel with everybody that I had, all of my original followers. Uh, Wow, since the beginning of this year, I would have to say, I think is what it's been. Um, you have to excuse me, my headphones broke, but I'm making do with what's going on. But yeah, this episode that we're going to be getting into is going to be the life after death. Is there really life after death, and if there is, what is true? What can we, separate fact from fiction? Uh, when we start getting into this, it gets really touchy because you have um, the many aspects of what we're talking about here, as far as religion, culture, spirituality, the bigger spectrum of where this falls under, and the different elements that contribute to what people actually perceive as life after death. Now, this is a subject, as I said yesterday when I was doing the intro for the show, is that you have a lot of elements that are bound in this. You have, like I said, the religious aspect from people's faith, what they believe and what they perceive from what they have been told in their different faiths and different religions. You have different cultures around the world. You have Asian cultures, you have African cultures, you have Middle Eastern cultures, you have European, Nordic cultures, and you have these perceived faiths that were intertwined, that were made by people to substantiate their beliefs from what they established here in the New World. You have Native American, indigenous culture all over the world, who speak of this afterlife and this transition from this parallel world that we see here into the afterlife. And like I said, there's just so many things that culminate within this one blanket of what is the afterlife. And we're going to try and get into some of that. And I would really love to have you guys, if you have questions, please come on. The comment sections are opened up right there. And it's on the Facebook uh, comment section. If you want to talk or leave a message, please go for it. I would really appreciate it if you guys did. This is a chance for us to get you guys involved and get you guys in on the conversation. So if you guys have anything that you want to say, please feel free, put it in the chats. If you guys want to get in on the show, let me know. I can bring you on and you can share your thoughts and your views on this. And as I said before, this is a place where we could come together, talk, share our ideas, share our expressions about these various topics that we talk about on here without any judgments. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. All I do is just give these ideas and these opinions on these various subjects that we discuss here, and present it to you. You do with it what you will. Do your own diligence and research everything on your own. All I'm saying is this: it's very fascinating when we can come together and find things that we as a society, that we as a group of people, whether it be in, like I said before, in different regions around the world, where we can come together and say, hey, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm glad that I can be able to come to a place where I can talk to people about this, or share my opinions, and we can say, yeah, this is really interesting. This is what I think about it. So yeah, we're going to come together. We're going to do this. You guys, please get on your computers, your phone. If you have not done so, uh, get to your computer, let your friends know, let your family members know. We are going to be talking about this subject, life after death. What is life after death? Is there anything that is uh, what any truth to what we know of? What do we know about life after death? Is there things outside of what we've been taught? Do not know that we can say, wow, that's very interesting, because there are a lot of aspects to this where it has been unified across many and many ancient cultures of, yes, the journey from this world into the next world. And we're going to dive into that. And I just want to say, this is going to be a good one. I'm super, super excited. I'm super stoked. Yeah, let's get into it, and let's start this show off right. I'm going to get this thing going. So, yeah, hang on to your seats. Let's do it. Sweet. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome back, Seeker of the Unknown. Today we're going to be talking about life after death. What, if anything, is there to the truth, or what we know of, or what we know about life after death? If you're like me, you grew up in a religious home where you went to church every Sunday, you read the Bible, you talked with your friends and family. And the one thing that they've always told us is that uh, there's either a heaven or there's a hell. You're either good or you're bad, and you go to one place or the other. If you don't do what you're supposed to be doing in this life, and you do not give up your sins to, Jesus Christ, and you don't repent, you're going to burn in hell. That there is a God, that there is a devil. Our vision of what we see as these two factions fighting for the souls of humanity, if you will. And battling it out for the number of people that they can get to come to the side of either good or evil. Just putting it plainly. But like I said before we started, around the world, there are very different aspects to this this thought. What is, if anything, the truth about what happens after we die? You have many people who say that when we die, the spirit leaves the body. You have many cultures around the world that say the very same thing, that when the body, this natural appearance to what and who we are, is not necessarily us. This flesh and body is what we perceive and we see with our natural eyes, and what we hear and what we speak out of our mouth. But the true nature of who we are is within us. And they say that when we die and we pass on from this plane, that yes, this flesh dies, this mortal flesh in this reality is gone, but we ascend from there to the afterlife. Now, what is this afterlife? We have many cultures. You have cultures in Eastern, Northern Asia and India. What they talk about in the Hindu religion is that the body the spirit goes through various journeys. throughout its lifetime, through its spiritual span, to get to that level of putting it plainly, the completeness. We reincarnate, we come back, and we learn from the lessons that we have been learning in our lifetime, through those lifespans, to be able to say, I've learned my lesson, getting to that end, saying that, I've gone through this journey many times over. I've corrected these things. I've fixed my karma, and that is one aspect of what a culture perceives as life after death. Another one is that in ancient Egyptian culture, what they talk about as the life after death is that if you have not uh, if the weight of your heart after you die is heavier than a feather, when uh, the Lord Anubis, the god Anubis, weighs your heart, and you have the gods there that are sitting in judgment recording this. If your heart is not balanced out with a feather, meaning that you did more bad than you did good, then you will not be able to journey past the afterlife, and you would have to come back and repeat it again. Same type of thing, just different, various with the godheads of who is there and why they're there, and uh, just kind of just fitting it in with the times of the culture at that time. And they still believe the same thing now. And then in the West, it seems that we've gotten farther away from that. It's gotten more, do this or you're going to go here. If you don't do this, you're not going to pass on, because it's become one of those things where, I believe that, in my research, and looking at a lot of ancient cultures, I find, and as I said before, this is not me judging or saying one thing. I am just trying to present the facts. Can you hear me? I hope this was on the whole time. Okay. But when you see that, in ancient scriptures, okay, even in religious texts, and I'm going to get into this real quick because, like I said, I don't want to, I don't want people to think that I'm denying anybody's faith or saying that anybody's wrong. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm doing is presenting things and saying, hey, check this out. Look at what I'm bringing to the table, because a lot of times, like I said, it's the fact that people are with blinders on, and these blinders are the ideas and the ideologies that you have been put in. Because, as I said, when you're a child, you don't know any better. You don't um, realize anything. All you're doing is being told what others are telling you as you grow up and you go through life. Now, the difference is that when we become older and we realize that we can see things differently, and with our own minds and our own perceptions of life itself and our own ideas of what we feel comfortable with, um, that is when we start to be able to break free. Now, a lot of people don't get that opportunity to break free. They just keep going straight ahead. And as I said, that's fine. But it's at that moment when you realize, for a lot of people, a lot of us who are open to the fact that this life that we are living is not really what we've been told. We realize that it is a, you know, um, a a a simulation, not real. That there's a program that has kept us hidden, in the dark about many things, many subjects. And for that, I would have to say, for people, if you can, break free or break away from the mainstream narratives and see these bigger pictures, these bigger aspects of what we've been taught. That is what I'm trying to do here, is just, say, hey, look at this, take a look, see for yourself, and do some research on your own, and if it fits with what you want to believe, great, all good. If not, then no sweat off anybody's back. But it's just planting that seed of knowledge and understanding of, hey, there are other things out there that are greater and more bigger and more broader than what we've all been told. So now, like I said, getting into life after death. Our thoughts on life after death are that, this journey of life is that we're born, we die. Many people believe that this is it. You stop existing once you're dead, that you are no more. A lot of atheists believe that, and that is their perception of it, and I'm not denying it. Um, it just, to me, it seems really sad to think or believe that this consciousness, that this spirit that we are, just burns out like a candle, and that's it. And I refuse to believe that, because we all know, and so does, science teaches us that energy is forever. It just transfers forms. You know, it just takes different shapes, but it continues on. You can never destroy it. It's always there. And as we know, the body creates a lot of energy, and that energy pulse that keeps us alive, of like who we are, the essence of who we are is inside of us. And as I pointed out other times throughout the show, is that in the West, our perception of what is, a soul, what are we? Who are we? Are we actually just flesh and bone and sinew, and that is all? For me, myself, as I said, I don't believe that. I believe that our consciousness of who we are and the essence of who we are, um, travels with us after we are gone. We leave this body. This body is just an avatar. It's just a character suit that we wear on to experience these life experiences and these journeys and these lessons, while we are here on this earth, while we are on this plane, to be able to say, okay, I did these things, I messed up here. I really wish I could go back and do this again and make it right, because I didn't learn my lesson. And for me, this is called, and for a lot of cultures and a lot of people around the world, this is called karma. And I'm not sure if a lot of people realize what karma actually is. Um, I read this book by Sadhguru, which is really amazing. I really highly recommend that you take a look at it. And Sadhguru goes through the 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 whole topic of karma. What is karma? How is karma created? How is karma affecting us in our lives? And what he explains is this: karma is our choices. Karma is the things that we do in this life that leads us down the paths and the journeys in this lifetime. And what he says is that, hey, listen, when you die and you pass on, those karmic choices that we made in this life affect us in the afterlife, and determine whether or not we are able to pass on, from this life to the eternal life, where our spirits return to the essence of the universe from which we came. And that, to me, is very profound, because when you look at ancient cultures, ancient Sumerians, and the Middle Eastern cultures of the time that were here that talk about us as human beings being created, the essence of who and what we are was given to us by the Creator. The very essence of the Creator, the very essence of this universe is within humankind. It says, if you want to believe in the Bible, it says that in the beginning, when God created man, he created him from the dust of the earth, which is the elements. If you look in our body is created of many of the elements you find in the planet, in the universe, in plants and other animals and everything. So that would, to me, make sense because and all the cultures, it speaks of the very same thing as the creation of man. It was man was man, the essence of human beings was created from these elements of the universe. And it says that the God that God or the gods or the many gods came together, if whatever you believe, and formed us in his or their own image. Now, if we are created in the image of this creator, okay, why would we sit here and say that we are not a part or are essentially the creator itself? Now, many theories are this, is that people don't want to believe, oh, well, we're not gods. I'm not saying that we're gods. What I'm saying is this, that outside of that realm of what we've been taught, and I'm saying, given the idea of me, myself, is that we are more than what we have been told. We have been shoved into this little box, okay? We have been told that we are just this flesh and blood and that we are going to live and die. And then, our soul will either belong to or will enter into the gates of heaven, or we will die and burn in hell. And if we do not, obey and agree with what the narrative is, that we are eternally damned. I do not myself believe that a creator who would create something in his own image would damn, destroy, or eternally get rid of something that they have created. Why would you do that? Would you burn your own child? Would you damn your own? The essence creator being destroyed because we're bad. I would never ever in my life think of doing that to my child and saying, I really getting really sick and tired of your crap. Here you go, kick him into a lake of fire. I mean, and to me, that in my spirit and my soul is wrong. And unfortunately, I'm not saying that, a lot of, bad people that we've heard throughout the history of our lifespan has done crazy things like this. But that in and of itself is I will not say inherent evil of people, of who they are, but it is their choices that they've made. And getting into that topic of the choices again, is that the choices that we make affect us. And I do not believe personally, and I'm, like I said, I'm not denying it. I've heard it all. I've experienced it all. I've researched it all. I've talked to people who say different things about, their religion or their cultures. I've lived in, I've been in the Middle East. I've been in Europe. I've been in Asia. The one place that I would really love to go to and talk to are the Ethiopian tribes. I would really like to sit down with them because they are the most, one of the most oldest. I want to talk to these older cultures and get their aspect on things, because they are orally passed down traditions. They're not, a lot of times they write stuff down, or they have paintings on the wall, or they, transcribe their information and pass it on verbally. It's that historical connection to us, to the past, about this subject of life after death. And as I said, I personally, researching and doing a lot of reading into, this subject matter, I see it as this: we are born into this world. We live this life. We go through this journey, as I said before. We experience, like, you know, essentially, um, weigh whether or not we are able, like it's in the ancient cultures and Egyptian cultures and Indian cultures and Asian cultures and European cultures and African cultures, South American cultures, that we pass on from this life to the next. Now, what choices we make um, determine whether or not we're able to live there and stay there forever in the essence of whatever the universe, the afterlife, um, experience is, or we stay in limbo in that plane and think about, man, I really screwed up, man. I should have did this better. It's the doubt and um, the pain and the suffering that we take essentially of this soul of who we are, our essence. And when we're there and we're going, man, this is I would really like to do this again. I want to experience this and make this right. I want to make this right. I've hurt somebody. I've made bad choices. I've done things that I shouldn't have done. I want to be able to correct these things and fix it, so that way when I do pass on the next time, I can say, okay, I've done this. I made it right. I'm okay with the choices I made. I want to be able to live here. I want to be able to stay and not have to come back. Um, and in these cultures, that's, to me, is it makes sense to me, because in my own personal experiences, what I believe and what I feel in my heart, I've always had that notion in within myself that something just, I've either seen things, experienced things, or I remember things that happened that I can't explain. And you know, being in the military and being in combat and going through that near death experience stuff, and experiencing death, knocking on that door and seeing friends or being around friends who have died, I and losing family members. We've all gone through this transitional period where we've experienced the grief of somebody leaving this plane and not being here. That, for me myself, and since I was younger, growing up, it was always this thing of, this just doesn't seem right. Something is really off. It doesn't jive with what I feel. um and I would, even when I was younger, uh, I just wasn't really sure. Hold on. Where we've experienced the grief of some. um Sorry. Testing, testing. All right. So having said that, the nature of who we are, what we are, um, what we believe in. If you believe that when you pass on and your spirit, your soul, your essence. Now, that's the other thing. A lot of people say, okay, well, how do we know that a spirit exists? How do we know that there is even a soul? A lot of doctors, a lot of scientists don't want to believe that. They refuse to say, okay, well, this body and what we are, those are just a chemical and uh, electrical impulses in our life. Um, they want to say that um, once you die, that's it. The body sends off electrical, your body's still alive. It sends off these electrical impulses and the body starts shutting down. And even after you die, your body is still, the cells, the matter that is there in this body is still active. Even for days after, nails in your hair still continue to grow. Um, uh, it just, the matter that is in this life, the soul is gone. Once you die, the heart stops pumping, your soul is gone. It separates itself from your body. Now you get these people who have had these afterlife experiences where it's them standing outside of themselves, watching what's going on, seeing themselves laying there and dying, and being able to describe the things that are happening around them and watching this. And some people talk about, going to this dark place and hearing these evil, crazy things and, experiencing what we call hell, or experiencing what they call heaven. And as I said, one person that describes it very well, and I love listening to her and getting into the subject, like I said before, with various, reading books and reading cultural things on Hinduism and cultures in Asia and Africa and Europe. European cultures, they have many gods and deities that help them transcend from this life into the next that are there. They believe, different things. Your family members are waiting for you. It's a feast. It's a celebration of being there and being gone and saying, okay, well, welcome in. You've done this great deed in your life, all this stuff. And now you're able to reap the rewards of your life on this earth. And, people saying that is like, it's putting it into what your mind and what you believe, what you're raised. If that is in your whole heart and that is what you believe happens to you when you die, that's what happens to you when you die. That has not heard of or listened to this woman that I'm going to be presenting or showing this video clip of here in a little bit. Her name is Dolores Cannon. Okay, let me put that in there. Actually, let me copy this. Hold on, and put this on there so that way you guys can check it out and see it for yourself. Her descriptions of what is, in fact, what happens when we die from doing past life regressions. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. And I'm getting into this because it ties into what I was talking about with myself. When you have these regressions of past life, now you have people all over the world for millennia who speak, and this goes all the way back in time to ancient cultures. And they speak of reincarnation when your body leaves, the soul leaves the body, and it transfers over into the universal essence of who and what we are, that we are able to come back We are able to regenerate into a new body. Our soul enters into a new life form. But the things that our soul does when we leave is very interesting with what she says, because she talks about contracts that we have with people that we know that we need to make things right with, or contracts with family members or friends or whatever. And we say, hey, we really screwed this up. I want to be able to make this right. We are able to come back. And how she describes it is that when we pass on from this life, and this really gets into culmination of beliefs that are older and more unified in this learning aspect of our souls being able to leave, going into the afterlife, and being able to come back, and are the things that we have been taught about a hell, a heaven, a tormented place where we go, where you go to suffering if you do things bad? Or is it the fact that we die, the torment and the pain that we have and the suffering of the things that we've done in this life, that is our hell? And in essence, in our minds, the pain and the torment and the grieving of our soul saying, I got to make this right. I got to do right by these people, or do right by my kids, or my spouse, or my family members, or my friends, or the people that I've hurt. And what she describes is really, it's really eye-opening, I guess you could say. And how she says it is this. I mean, there's many videos you can look up on YouTube. I just posted one right, down here in the comment section. If you haven't seen it, it's in there. I'll do an overlay on the video. You guys can check it out and look at it for yourself. But we have, generated this thought of, there's got to be more to this process of us being here alive than us being dead. In reality, we don't experience all of this because it was hidden from us. Everything that we know of now is a westernized idea of what life is and what death is. What in the heck? Sorry, I had to turn this darn thing off. My son's got his Infinite Campus homework stuff coming up, and I'm like, man, we got grading this weekend, so that's one thing that's going on, and we're having to do. But we see in the westernized culture of what is going on with us, in what we believe is that when we die and we pass on, we are able to make agreements with people, make agreements with those that we love and those that we would like to make things right with, or just make things right in general, period. And say, hey, I really screwed up. I need to fix this. Now, depending on if you died of natural causes, or you died of old age, or you just died from sickness, if you die in a tragic situation, what she says is that when you pass on, and this is the same thing as I said with what Sadhguru talks about in death, the death transition, is depending on what happens to you. One instance, a mother who was sick and dying, who was passing on and was leaving this life, who was not in a very good relationship and did not want to be in it, but was in it because she had her children. Dolores Cannon says that, when she passed on, she saw what it was like on the afterlife, and she was, very happy with being there. She was, saying that she could see herself. She did not, she realized she was out of the body and she was free from the pain and the torment that was going on, and that she was able to do all these things like, see and move around and experience this out of body life. And she said that when she got to the other side, I mean, she explains it so um, vividly. A lot of people have a hard time with realizing that what she is saying is based on years and years and years of research. This woman has done thousands of cases where she's done past life regression therapy, where she hypnotizes people. She goes through a what do you say? It is a practice of doing it where it happens where she is able to comfortably get people to revisit these thoughts without harming them or causing pain to them, because this is something where a person realizes what happened or experiences something that they have regressed in their soul. It can, it can hurt people. I mean, you're messing with a spiritual thought process and a mental process. And as I said before, the mind, the spirit, the body can't live without the soul, the mind aspect. And it's like, in your dream, when you're falling and you're in a building and you wake up and you jolt yourself, are you really falling? No, you're not. But the sensation of what you're experiencing in that torment and that pain is so real that it causes your body to react. And it's just like in the movie The Matrix. When you die in The Matrix, you die in real life. Did you really get shot by bullets while you were in The Matrix? No, but it's your mind and your spirit perceiving what is actually happening to you. And it's not really, it's making that connection that, yes, this is real, because the body feels it. The soul is experiencing it, so the body feels it. The body feels that physical pain. So it's the regression therapy that she does is really touchy. But she says that in every experience that she's done, everything that they tell her, it coincides with a lot of people. That when you die, she said, this woman passed on. She saw relatives and people that were there, and they, greeted her into the afterlife. And there were, these scribes, these head gods. And it's so funny that she says this, because it correlates with what is in the Emerald Tablets. If you don't know what the Emerald Tablets are, I would really highly suggest that you get it. This is mine. I got it, the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets by Billy Carson. But there are many other books out there. I recommend this one because it's for beginners, and it breaks it down to where you can simplify it, and it gives you everything. It says everything. It's got, let me give you a reference here. He breaks it down, Emerald Tablet 2, but he has research stuff with the annotations on the side that you can also look up, research those tabs for yourself. But as I said, he talks about how both going down into the netherworld or going into the afterlife and seeing these beings that were the high powerful beings of the creator aspect realm, that were judging people and saying, hey, look, we're showing you your life. This is what happened. These are the things that, you're seeing it, but you're not just seeing it from your soul's perspective of it. You're seeing it from their perspective of you doing the things that you did to them, or the things that you've done to people or done in your life. Not only just the good, but And that in of itself is the torment. Because within us, we're like, man, I really screwed this up. I really, it makes you feel like pain because of what you've done and what you've said or what the choices you've made. And they tell you, what is it that you would want to do? Now you're around these beings that have been with you your whole life, she says. People talk about these spirit beings, whether they're relatives, whether people believe them to be angels. If you believe that, then that's what they are to you. They present themselves in the way that you believe or you perceive them. And they have been here with us all of our lives, guiding us and helping us to make choices. You hear those things telling you, man, you shouldn't do that, because you're thinking. And that, in a way, in essence, is them putting things in your way to change your obstacle of, don't go here. I think you better watch out, because today you might not want to go to that. Makes you a little bit late. Oh man, I forgot my keys. Do you normally do that? You always go and you place them where they're at, or something happens where it distracts you from things like that. And she says that this woman, when she passed on, these people greeted her, they showed her life. She was dying of sickness, and they told her, you have to go back. Your life, your life is not over. There are things that you still have to learn, that you still have to finish out. Your contract, your life contract, isn't fulfilled. And she's like, I don't want to go back. I want to stay here. It's great here. I'm at peace. I'm not sick. I don't have to deal with my husband. I don't have to worry about them. And they said, well, your family, is going to be grieving. They're, it's impacting them. They need you to be there. And she's like, I don't want to stay. I don't want to go back and deal with that stuff. I love it here. But they said, she told the lady who was hypnotized, told Dolores Cannon, that the beings told her, look, if you don't go back, what about your children? Your children are little. They need you. If you don't go back, this choice will affect the outcome of what happens now in their life because of the grief that you left. Their life will not be the same as if you had stayed here and helped to guide and be a part of their life. You can still go back and help them, because if you don't, this is really going to impact your kids, and it's going to affect them, and they might go off into a different direction, and this choice is really going to affect those choices in their life. But if you go back, you'll be able to help guide them again, or be able to be a part of their decision making, or being in their life to affect them, so that way it's a different, you have two paths that you have to make. You either stay here and your children go off and they do something and it affects their life, and it's not the same as if you were to go back and be able to do that. So she said, okay, if you put it that way, I will go back. So they brought her soul back into her body, and she came back. But what she said is this. She told her husband, listen to me. If at ever any time I die, or I'm at that position where I'm gone, do not bring me back. Do not bring me back. Because I've seen what it's like, and I want to stay there. That to me really hit me, because it was like, as I said, this subject was really touchy for me, because when I was younger, hey babe, can you give me something to drink? This coffee, I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know if it's the water or what. It just tastes off. I didn't have it. I'm not on the internet because I'm on the internet. I just put the tapes on. Thank you. I love you. Huh? There's no sodas or energy drinks. There's no tea, or there's tea, but I don't have to get them. I guess. Sure. Thank you. All right. I want to get back to this. Okay. But like I was saying, is that like when our bigger aspect of life after death, for me, this was really touchy because um, all my life growing up, I knew that something was off. I knew that something just this just didn't feel right, and I would have these very, very scary dreams where I would see these things and I couldn't explain it, and it really scared me. Really scared me. I used to have dreams of astral projection, of leaving my body as a child and being able to see people like through the buildings. Like I'm flying through the air and I could see my friends, and I'm just like out of my body, and I'm like going places that I should not even know about. And I'm describing this stuff to my family, and I remember I used to draw pictures of it when and I remember in Germany when my dad was stationed there that I used to. Thank you. Found it. You want it? You here? It's okay. No, here. Thank you. But I remember like growing up and being in Germany and just seeing all this stuff happening. I don't know why it happened at that time. I was about between the ages of 7 and 10, and I just remember these, telling my mom. This was, I think, the pivot point for me in my life, being young, because I was always thinking about odd stuff like this. Um, and I would tell my mom, I'm gonna die young. I'm not gonna live to be an old man. And she's like, "What are you talking about? You know, you're gonna live forever." Like I said, my family was very religious, and my mom was just like, God's gonna say, God would not allow that to happen to you, and He's gonna protect and watch over you, and these angels are gonna protect. And I just had these very vivid dreams of dying. And I always wanted to be in the military, not just because my dad was in the military, that was a big aspect of it, but I just had these military driven ideas. I was a soldier. I knew it in my past life. And I think that's how I died. My life was cut short. I didn't have the ability to finish my life. And I died at a young age. And I remember telling my mom, I'm going to die young. I'm not going to be old. Um, and like I said, I would have these very real dreams of me and these beings and being and projecting into what I, you know, I would see. I don't know if it was things that I was seeing as a past life, things that were happening to me in a past life, or people that I was interacting with. But I just remember seeing these things I could not explain. And this death experience is what I'm, coming to realize now of what it was, me dying. And it was so scary. I just remember crying and screaming, and my parents waking me up and shaking me like, Jose, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? And I would just be like, oh, nothing. And I would just go back to sleep because I would come back like, and I would see them in the midst of what I was seeing in my spirit mind. And fast forward, I've always had this, thing, this connection with that. So fast forward, I am now in my 20s, my early 20s. 9/11 happened. I joined the military. Um, it was always, like I said, my goal to be driven to do that. I don't know why, but nothing was going to keep me from getting that. And I went into the military, and I was able to get into a different job, what they wanted me to do because of my scoring and my ASVAB stuff. They told me, well, what, you're scoring at this level, we want to put you in intel and communications, and be able to do that with your scores that you got and yada yada. And I told them, no, I want to be in the infantry. And they're like, why? You don't have to be in that aspect of the military. You don't have to be in that position. We want, you're able to be here if this is the choice you want. And I was like, no, I want to be in the infantry. That's what I want to do. That's my calling. And they were like, okay. And I remember thinking to myself in that moment, I fucked up. You know what I mean? But it was like, I'm going to do this because I knew where I was going. I knew what I was heading for, and I knew what I was getting myself into. But I didn't care. I knew this was what I had to do. I knew that it was coming with a heavy price. But something in my soul and my spirit was like, you got to do this. You got to make this happen. I am now 20. I turned 21 when I was in Korea. I left Korea. I was 22 in Fort Campbell. I was 23. I turned 23. I turned 23 when I was in Iraq. And we went through a lot of craziness. A lot of craziness. It was the near-death experiences, the almost getting killed, watching friends get hurt and shot and blown up, and being in that. If it happens to me, I just want it to be quick. I don't want to feel it. I don't want it to hurt. I don't want to suffer. And I just remember that through that whole experience of being in combat was that the peace. I don't know why. I can't explain it now. It was just something of, it's going to be okay. If I make this out or if something happens, it's going to be all right. I just remember something, just being a calm through all of the crazy crap. And a lot of my friends that were with me can attest to this. We would even say to each other, dang, bro, like, we're not going to make it, but we're going to try our damnedest to do it. And it was like, dude, like, it's getting really bad. This is bad. We would even go out on patrols and it would just be that feeling like something's going to happen today. And it's weird because other days it was like, I'm good. It's going to be fine. But experiencing that and being near that and making it home, it was like, now what? That's what it felt like to me, was now what? What's going to happen now? I couldn't explain it. I would say after I got out of the military, after journey and being there, and getting out, I, for whatever reason, I was told that I had something wrong. Medically, they had found something in my head, my brain. They couldn't identify it. I was sent to Ramstein Air Force Base. They found I had degenerative bone disease. The cushioning in between my spine was depleting, and it's like deteriorating slowly as the years go by. And I'm, going to end up having to get that fixed. My hips were bad. My knees, everything, So they cannot be in the infantry anymore. You need to get out and switch. My choice at that time was if I can't do what I'd love to do, I'm going to get out. I'm not going to do this anymore. Did it hurt me? I cried. I cried. I literally cried because I had fought so hard to get into this place where I wanted to be. Now, the reason why I'm telling this story is because of the choices. This goes back to the choices. Listen to me now. With everything in my soul that was telling me, hey, you could stay in, retire your career, but you'd be in office. You'd be in office. Is this what you want? No. No, I don't want to do this. So I decided to get out. that was my choice. I had two paths I could have took: stay in and do something and be in a career that I did not want to stay in and not be happy, or get out and pursue something else in my life and make something happen and be with my family. So I got out. Now fast forward 2000, it was right after Nino died, my uncle Biggie. 2010, so 2012ish, yeah, 2013, I think, somewhere around there. My aunt, who I love very dearly, um, came to my other aunt who just passed away, my Nina Lily, recently last year, and she told her, hey, because her and I were very close, very close, and she said, hey, I was going through some of my pictures and came across a picture, and I want you to see it because it really, really, she said, Lily, she got goosebumps, like it gave her the chills. She showed my Nina Lily. My Aunt Terry had showed her the picture, and my Nina Lily said the same thing. Oh my God, we have to show this to him. We have to give him this picture. So my aunt calls me up and she said, hey, I need to talk to you. Terry tried to get a hold. She doesn't remember or anything, so I told her I would call you. I said, yeah, Nina, what's going on? And she said, she goes, how Aunt Terry and you were always close, and she always felt a connection to you. And she didn't understand why, because I love my Aunt Terry. I love all my aunts. But this is my mom and dad's, or my dad's side, from my grandmother, her sister. They had a family member who was very young during World War III, or World War II. Jesus, why did I say World War III? How scary. Who was in World War II and who died at a very young age in France during the invasion. He was with the 7th Infantry Division, the Rainbow Division, I believe it was. Don't quote me on that, I'm sorry, but that was division that he was in, that he passed away in. He was around 23 years old, I believe is what they said. 23 years old, yeah. And I was shocked because that's around the same time. That's how old I was when I left. Now, having said that, the coincidences of that happening, or being a connection with me and my life experiences since I was younger, that blew me away, and that really put everything together for me, because now I understood why I felt the way I felt. I understood why I was so drawn to certain things in my life, and now that I have surpassed that point of learning, or my experiences that I had experienced up to that point, that to me really, really hit it home. I told her, I said, yeah, I said, let me, send me the picture. Do you got it? She was like, yeah, Mijo. She was like, I'll get it to you right now. I'll have, one of the kids, because she couldn't understand how to do the picture aspect of everything. So what I'm going to share with you right now is me, my past life, who I am and who I was. I have to get a hold. Let me see if I can get a hold of my dad. He might not know, but this picture like I said, is a picture of me in my past. Um, I believe this to be who I am. I was their, I think it's their cousin or brother, family member. These are the three men that were in the military, and this young man is the one who passed away. I'm not sure if you're able to see it really good, but if you put it side by side with mine, exactly the same. Nose, mouth, hair, ears, eyes, everything. And this really blew my mind because I made the connection right then and there. Holy crap. That's me. That's why I experienced all the stuff that I was experiencing, because I I had passed away. I died. Um, I experienced that because I had surpassed my contract. I fulfilled what was going on with me. I had gone past that point in my life. Now I am experiencing everything that is happening to me now. I say now because I haven't experienced this yet. Everything that has happened to me beyond that point um, is new. I've never experienced having children. I never experienced, um, marriage. I haven't experienced um, anything. So everything up to this point is new for me as I'm learning. So, having shared that, do I believe that there is a life after death? Yes. Do I believe that we go on? Do I believe that there is more to this than what we have been told? Yes. And I just want to be able to open up people's eyes and say, hey, listen, what you've been told, what we know, is not entirely what is. So, having said that, I want to get into this video of Dolores Cannon talking about after death experience, um, what she explains as heaven and hell. And yeah, we'll get into it. I'll show it to you guys. You guys can check it out and see it for yourself. Give me a second. All right, here it is. We will do this. Let me get this screen right. Because really, you don't have to see the whole thing. You just gotta, we'll make it theatrical-ish. All right, well, here she is. Let's see if you guys can hear it. I hope you can.
What is God? Everyone in the world and every religion in the world sees God in a different way. They all see it according to the way they believe. It doesn't mean there's any right, there isn't any wrong. It's our concept is so limited to what it really is. God is so huge, it is so big that there's no way we can define it, and there's no way we can enclose it in a box that we call religion. We call it the source. God is a name that we have put on it, but it all goes back to the source. The source is the beginning of everything. The first thing you have to get over is thinking that God is a man. We personify him. He is not. Been a woman, because woman is the feminine aspect, the creative aspect. But the truth is, it's not a physical, it isn't a man or it is not a woman. It is a huge, powerful energy source
There you go.
that cannot be described. It is the embodiment of love, it is total love. When I've done my sessions, people go back to the source, they go back to the audience that say they have had near death experiences. I don't care what the doctors say, it's very, very real. That I've had enough proof of it in my work, I know it's very.
In this video right here, I fast forwarded it because it's like 53 minutes long, but she's speaking about all the aspects of people with the regression therapies that she's done. And she's going through and describing it at a conference of telling people what they see and what happens after they die. And that everybody says the same thing pretty much.
Very real. But in most of the near-death experiences, the person either going through a tunnel or they're going out of their body, they are going toward a huge light. And they never reach that light. They usually are turned back before they get to that light. Usually there's somebody there who says, are you sure you want to go? You know, you have a choice, but maybe it'd be better if you go back. You know, your family needs you. Things like that. But sometimes there's someone there to give you a choice if you want to return or do you really want to go on. It's your decision. But whenever they decide to go back, they never go all the way to that bright light. I found out what that bright light is.
So amazing.
This is why they don't actually die, because they don't go all the way. The bright light is a huge energy source. You may even want to call it God if you want to, but it's a powerful energy source. And when you actually do leave your body and die, you go through that light. And when you go through that light, the silver cord is severed at that time.
Now, what she's describing as the cord is the attachment to she's going to describe it, but it's just like in ancient cultures when, in like Greek myths, where you have your life cord. And once the deities that are in control of it cut it, your life, it's over. You've left that tie to the physical world. And that's, like I said, that's mind-blowing because she's talked to many of these people and that's what they describe, and that's the essence of what they are saying is real. It happens.
You're all attached with a silver cord, our spirit, which is the real you, and the body the entire time you're alive. Because every night you go out of your body.
There it is.
Everybody does. The spirit, the real you, would get sitting around waiting for the body to wake up. The body's what gets tired. The real you doesn't. And so it's sitting around waiting for you to get up. Okay, let's get on with it. As soon as the body goes to sleep, you're out of there, having all kinds of adventures. You're going to the spirit side, you're talking to your guides and your masters and getting instructions, or you're off anywhere you want to go in the world, seeing people, looking in on them, whatever you want to do. Or you can go off to planets, other dimensions. You do this every night, but you don't know it because, well, you're not supposed to know it for one thing, it'd be too confusing. But the only way you remember is flying or dreams of strange, unfamiliar places.
Yep.
So we're off having all these adventures every night. And in toward morning, when it's time to get back to the body, we are connected with the silver cord the whole time. You're reeled in, so to speak. They reel you back in to where you're back in the body again. Then the body has to wake up and you're ready to continue your daily work. So whenever you actually die, you go through this energy source. At that time, the silver cord is severed immediately by the energy. When that happens, you cannot return to the body again. That's the spark of life. Once that spark of life has left the body, it begins to deteriorate immediately.
And that's what people describe when what they're saying is that their soul leaves their body. Like she said, that cord is severed, so that life essence attached to this vessel is gone. So it starts deteriorating. It has no more essence to it, so it's gone. That is so amazing to hear her say this and what people have told her through these experiences and how these things happen. It's amazing.
You ever watch someone die? You know something's gone. It's left. At that point, the body begins to deteriorate. Then you're on the other side and you cannot come back. The only way you have ghosts, you have people coming back and giving messages, apparitions, but it's not the actual person because they can't come back into the body again. So once you get over there, you're met with great love. There is no hell. There isn't.
There you go.
I've done thousands and thousands of cases. There is no hell.
Well,
Hell is an invention of the church, and you can see why. It
exactly.
was never in the Bible. It's something that has been invented. There's no hell. A loving God would not do that to people. You are allowed to make all the mistakes you want. You're allowed to come back and do it again.
I know this is very, very controversial to people, and they do not want to hear this because of the implementation of ideologies. And as I said, doing your research and understanding that these things were implemented by people. Listen, folks, by people. Why would a creator create something, a very essence of who and what we are, only to destroy it? Man implements that fear to get you in bondage. And that in myself is what I believe is what happens. Because they want to have that control over you. So, as I said before, it may be one of those things where people don't want to hear it or listen to it, but this is what she's been hearing from thousands of people who have passed on and who have lived this life.
Again and again till you get it right. They don't punish you just because you make a mistake and throw you into an oven that way. You have to realize you have made mistakes. Earth is a school, but it's a school, you come here to learn lessons, but it's a school where you can't skip a grade, but you can have to repeat a grade. You don't get it right, you have to come back and do it again until you get it right. You can't go from kindergarten to college, it's impossible. You have to learn the lessons, and the lessons are not easy. Earth is a you learn emotions. Those are the two main things, and limitations taught on other planets. This is a very challenging planet. So you come here to learn these things, and it's all important lessons. I tell people, everyone has bad things that happen in their life. That's life. But what did you learn from that bad thing? If you learned even one thing, that was the reason for the experience. If you say you didn't learn anything, you're going to have to come back and repeat it again, the same circumstance.
Right.
It's all teaching us something. And that's what it's all about. It's not easy. Life is not easy. The problem is, when we come back, we don't remember what we came for. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, once you get over there, I have found 3 different places that you can go to. Now you go to the place that you are tuned to by your vibration and your frequency. Because
Now this is where it gets interesting, because she says of your vibration and your frequency. As people who believe in certain things in this, that is level plane. You believe in you're a Christian that you're going to go to heaven or go to hell, that's what, if what you believe in, that's what happens, because that's where your vibration is. Hindu, these certain types of things, that's where you go, and that's what happens.
Because you can't go to anything else. You have to be vibrating at that frequency.
Right.
And as you become more advanced, if you learn more, each time you'll go a little higher and a little higher. Different places over there because of the vibration and frequency will match as you grow. You don't want to keep what I call the wheel of karma. You just keep going round and round and around, making the same mistakes. You're not going anywhere. You're not advancing. You're not doing anything. You're just playing the same old game again and again. That's what we have to get out of that rut. So the three places that I have found, it's the lower astral is what I'm going to talk about first, the lower astral. And of course, all these places are divided into many other compartments, also depending on frequency. The lower astral, I don't think anybody in this room is going to have to worry about. Those are those people who we might consider earthbound. They have lived in such a negative life that they don't realize they can go anywhere else. All they know is life. And these are like the ones who are the murderers, the drug addicts, the alcoholics, the ones that they just don't want to come out of where they are. The very negative people. When they die, they don't know they're dead because they think they're still alive. They don't know anything is going on because they have died in this kind of a condition that they keep trying to get back into bodies, which you cannot do. I've found there is no such thing as possessions, no such thing as demonics, because the soul is protected solely by a shield. But they will try, and you can be influenced if you're on drugs. You can be influenced by these kind of entities. But see, they don't realize they have died. And what they're trying to do is sensations they had through osmosis, hanging around people who are drinking or who are on drugs or.
So what I was getting into.
What is God? Everyone in the world and every religion in the world sees God in a different.
Let me see this one. I'm gonna.
And
this is why I say that is because this essence of what we're talking about.
Every ancient alphabet, bar none, has always from day one, each letter had a mysterious number associated with the letter. The study of that code is called gematria, atomic mass of the elements. The numbers of the atomic mass are the numbers that equate to the mysterious letters in the ancient alphabets. What that means is when you look at human DNA, or the DNA of any life, the numbers that equate to those become 1, 5, 6, and 3. Literally reads, literal, God eternal within the body. God eternal within the body. It is in Hebrew and Aramaic and Sanskrit, three of the root languages. If there's an intentionality underlying life itself and human life specifically, it would make tremendous sense to me that who or whatever is responsible would somehow have left a sign. Why place that signature into something that life itself and human life specifically? It would make tremendous sense to me that who or whatever is responsible would somehow have left a sign. Why place that signature into something that can crumble over a few thousand years, like a temple wall, or into the pages of a book that can be destroyed? Why not put it in the creation itself?
There is
that to
no
me,
hell.
And this right here is other descriptions.
Our life does not end when we expire from this, the third world. It continues on. The teachings of our people about the life after we expire from this, the third world, and go into the fourth world, is mentioned in many of the ceremonies and the songs and the prayers. And when you are familiar with the ceremonies, like for example, the Hojong or the Beauty Way, there's the prayer that just simply, let there be joy, happiness, confidence, and peace. Let there be joy, happiness, confidence, and peace behind me. Let there be joy, happiness, confidence, and peace below me. And let there be joy, happiness, confidence, and peace above me. And so it is that when you make your determination that you're going to travel on this yellow corn pollen path, and that you understand that this is the yellow, and so you make your promises in your prayer that you're going to maintain your journey on that yellow corn pollen path. And that yellow corn pollen path eventually leads into the next world, which is.
And that's what I'm getting at, is different cultures believe.
When it's found amongst cultures all around the world that apparently had no contact with one another and are often separated by thousands of years. The same idea.
If you don't know who this is Graham Hancock. I love this man's information, his studies, and his research. He has done a lot of it. He was a journalist who was doing some investigative journalism and decided, hey, there's something more to this stuff that I'm researching. And he ended up looking into ancient cultures, hidden ancient cultures, ancient origins, and finding out there is more to this life that we have been told and taught, especially about the afterlife.
Is found about what happens to us after death. The only reasonable explanation I can come up with is that they've all inherited this idea and then developed it in their own ways from a remote common source. And that's one of the main reasons that I'm curious about the possibility of a lost civilization, that these spiritual ideas are found all around the world. And they involve the journey of the soul after death and a leap to the heavens. And sometimes it's called an underworld, but really it's set in the sky.
The theory that many people have is that death opens up a chemical gateway in the mind. And that chemical gateway takes whatever the soul is, whatever consciousness is, and transports it into this new realm. It allows you, your consciousness, to access this which is available to you upon death. A lot of the ancient cultures that did ayahuasca and mushrooms, they would talk about this realm as being like a well of souls, that you encounter disembodied life forms, disembodied spirits.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That is what, I really, get my across in this episode, is that there is more to the story of what we've been told. There's more to what is happening. There's more to what is going on around us, and the aspect of life after death is just one bit that I would wish that people would look into and say, wow, I'm not going to be stuck into this rut of, I think what it is giving hope and understanding to people that, listen, we go through this life, things happen, turmoils, pain, grief, suffering, happiness, joy, excitement, ecstasy. Everything in this life that we experience is a journey, to learn and experience and to get things right, to be at a higher vibration, to elevate ourselves as a society, as humanity, that if we could all just get on the same page and realize that we are no different from each other at all, that the essence of who and what we are is eternal in every one of us. Every single one of us is on this journey, this path to be elevated, to be at that higher vibration where we can get through this journey of life and say, I've done what I needed to do. Could you imagine the possibilities if humanity was to just say enough is enough with all of the division? Enough is enough with all of the separation, the war, the hate, the murder, the crime, everything, and realize that the life that we have that leaves this plane to that afterlife, this world would be so different if people would realize that, there is more to that aspect of eternal, the eternal circle of who we and what we are after we die, that we could make this world a little bit better, because it would make it to where, what am I trying to say? We would have more respect for each other if we just work together and stop being divided on all these issues. But I would really hope that people would realize that this journey that we're on is something that is not there to hinder us. It is not there to, be troubled and look at these obstacles that are in our way and say, fuck, I can't do this. I'm done. It's for us to say, how am I going to overcome this? How am I going to learn from this and achieve what I need to make things right? I believe that's what I'm trying to get at, is that, I go through that in my life with my family, with myself, with my job, with everything that's going on. I look at this and I say, okay, this is placed before me. How am I going to react to it? What am I going to do? Because I want it to be that notion of, when I die, I want to be able to say, okay, I'm okay with this. Because if not, I want to make it right. There's this movie that came out with Robin Williams a while back that really hit home with me on this too, because it's so weird that, things come into your life and you see things, you're like, wow, this makes sense. I've experienced this. It was with, it's called What Dreams May Come. If you have not seen it, I would highly suggest that you do. Let me see. I got the trailer right here. I'll put it on and then we can check it out. But it is a very, very deep movie, and I highly recommend that you watch it. It is something that like I said, it to me, it hit home for me with watching. So let's check it out real quick. Really quick. Let me pause this. All right, here we go.
I love you, Bug.
I love you too.
I'm a doctor. Don't move.
The moment that comes for everyone. Has come for Chris Nielsen.
Died, Chris.
If heaven is a place where you know only joy.
Oh! Boy, I screwed up. I'm in dog heaven.
You're creating an entire world here, from your imagination, from anything you want.
Where you feel no more fear.
I'm gonna drown.
You can't. You're already dead.
Oh.
And anything you can imagine is real.
It's your
of the love you left behind.
I need Annie.
That'll change in time.
Time does not exist here. And wherever it went, we need Annie any less.
And how far would you go?
You never see her.
I'm her soulmate.
To get it back.
I can find her. Your wife, love you is strong. You just kept me there.
Robin Williams.
It's not about understanding.
It's about not giving up.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
You're fine. You can do it. I believe in you.
Annabella Sciorra.
I'm still here, babe. I still exist.
What dreams may come.
Woo. Good stuff. Almost had me crying. Well, said I posted that trailer. If you guys want to link to it, it's in the description below. But that's what I mean. It's that journey that we do go on, and we do not end. We are always here. So I hope that this gives you hope, and that you find your solace in understanding that whatever happens and whatever comes, that this journey that we're on is the learning experience for each and every one of us, through the pain, through the loss, through the separation, through the hurt, through the agony, through anything that you're going through. Know this, that whatever is happening and you feel that you cannot complete what is going on with you, please don't let it get you. Don't let it overcome you. There is hope. There is a reason why you are here. There's a reason why you are experiencing this. And it may hurt, but please do not give up. Because they say that, if you do something or you end this contract with yourself, look at that video I posted with of Dolores Cannon. She explains everything inside of that. I posted it here in the descriptions, so you can see this, and watch it for yourself. That if you do end your contract and leave this life not the way you're supposed to be, that it is going to be harder for you to redo it again, and it takes you longer to be able to make that choice to come back and redo it again. All I'm saying is this. You're not alone. This journey and this path that you're on is precious because you are meant to walk it. It is yours and yours alone. I hope that this helps you in determining the things and the choices that you do. I hope that this helps you realize or understand a little bit more that there is better out there for you, and that when your time comes and it's your time to go, that you find peace in being able to transition and know that this is not all there is to what we are and who we are. So with that, I am going to close it out. And I just want to say thank you all for being here. I know these podcasts seem long, but it's me getting into the subject and explaining it and hoping that it reaches somebody and it helps somebody understand and get into seeking and enlightenment from anything that we share here on the podcast. So thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate you. And I hope that this helps you. And, just remember that you guys are not alone. We're not alone in this. We're in this together. This journey of life is meant for us to be here doing what we're doing. And it is something that we will overcome. There's better. This life is not the end. Like the greatest saying I love hearing is, death is only the beginning. It is not the end. So it's not goodbye. It's I'll see you later. That's one thing, I always, my mom always says to us, it's not goodbye, it's I'll see you later. That was one thing she always told me when I left, when I would come home and visit, when I was, downrange, is I love you. I will see you later. And I'll see you soon.